Wood. Lots of it. It's not that we don't have wood here. We got sheets of every possible thickness. Wide, thin. We could build our own, but let's do it this way. So here we have, whoops. Hang on, let me start over. Wood. Lots of it. Check this out. Can you see this right here? I don't know if you can tell or not. That there's a footprint. It's pointing that way, see? So the UPS guy had to step across this here. He's like, oh, this spot's really fragile. So he stepped across here to crush the box with his foot. Hey, what we have here, hang on, here it is. ML Boatworks. I know, right? I build my own. I cut my own wood, make my own designs. I really like Mike at ML Boatworks. What a super guy. And I know not everybody's going to design their own boats and is going to pattern their own wood and take all the time to cut it out. So I thought that you and I would build a boat together. But I feel there's some tension in the room. I mean, we're friends, right? You and I? What's one of the most important things that friends can do for each other? Yeah, they forgive each other. Right? I've been gone for a long time. I realize that. Cut me a break. We're going to build stuff. This is the boat shop update. I'm going to show you some things that we're going to do here. We're going to do really cool stuff here. Even the stro's going to get a little cutting and chopping. Oh, look at that. See, isn't that nice? Yeah. Fragile, right? Jeez. What are you going to do to break it this bad? You have to ignore the sign that says fragile. What are we going to build here? I'm not going to tell you. See if you guys figure it out. Oh, that gave it away right there. Oh, by the way, meet Miss Piggy. Piggy baby. There's my pig. She's a good girl. This is not a replacement shop dog. By the way, I really covet your prayers and thoughts and all the messages I got about Jackson Brown when he was sick. He had severe pancreatitis. He has survived. He is trying to regain his weight. He went from 23 pounds down to 16. Was kept alive on IVs for many days. Has survived it. And he's kicking. He's not out here because it's cold. Heater number 1. Heater number 2. Heater number 3. And it's still cold. All right, we'll get some Jackson Brown proof here. Sit. Yes. Sit pretty. Sit pretty right here. Well, you gotta sit pretty. Oh my goodness, that's a terrible effort. All right, down. Sit. Good enough. You're such a good boy. Okay, kind of skinny. Otherwise, ain't nothing wrong with that dog. Good boy. All right, so just briefly, let's talk about it. We're going to build this boat from ML Boatworks. I'm going to do some modifications because you guys know I can't leave stuff alone. And I asked Mike's permission first because I didn't want to... What I don't want to do is imply that Mike's designs are not good because they are excellent. I know many of them that run, and they run great. And what I typically do is modify it and ruin it. But that's just what we do here. But no matter what I do to it, I will take you through it step by step, and you'll get to see how easy and awesome it is to assemble one of Mike's kits. And they really are just this slick to work with. And this thing will fit together like a big puzzle. You'll see. Nothing to it. You figured out what I'm building yet? it's all right here. This first sheet was just a total giveaway, as is this here. So this is project number 1. Thank you, Peggy. Appreciate that, baby. Project number 2. Let's talk about what we're going to do over here. First of all, these here, and get rid of this junk. Those are going away. This is going away. Most of it. I'm going to cut it right here. Yeah, you know what we're doing. If you followed my channel, you know what's happening here. Really? Great. Okay, gas boat. I've become not a big fan, okay? Not that it's a bad boat. I mean, we won the Gold Cup with it last year. Missed it this year. I think I finished 3rd. We're going to change it. A couple things I want to know. Give me some comments here. You painters, you guys that shoot. Can you see this? I got cracks everywhere. It's not that I didn't expect it, you know, because that happens. But I'm wondering, I never use a flex additive in my paints, and if you have tried it, and if it works, let me know what you're doing. Let me know how that works out. See, you look at this, you think, oh my gosh, the wood's breaking, this hull is junk. No, it's really just the paint. The wood's going to flex. This is interesting here. You can see it cracked here. 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 You know, it's where the structure is inside, and there's a stringer laid right here. So this is a, you know, kind of a strong point. So anytime the deck flexes, it's going to flex around these points. And then, of course, along here where the deck is attached to the sponson runner here. But anyway, it's super thin. I went with a 1mm top skin. And on gas boats here on out, I'm going to go with the 1.5. That'll help reduce the flex. Things still crack. Paint doesn't like to flex, right? So it'll still do funky things, but maybe less. You know what you really don't need is a 13-pound gas boat. It's just insane. So while I have a lot of fun making stuff light, as you know, we're going to beef this thing up. And there's a number of things we're going to do. I don't know if you followed along. I threw a prop blade. I'm sure I hit something because the boat right behind me bent his prop up too. And I kept going because that's what I do. You know, it was moving slow and it was making all kinds of noise. But I'm like, hey, man, it's points. You don't want to stop. And eventually it flexed and shook around so bad that it broke the strut, but not before it busted the transom all up. And this was a bunch of 5-minute epoxy race day fix here. It was all the way across there. I've chipped some of it out. But there's a lot of damage under here. And so we got to repair this, and you can see where pieces of blade were flying off all over the place and busted up the whole back half of the boat here. So we're going to repair that, and that'll be fun. And since that's going to mean this is all going to kind of change, and we're going to repaint, we're going to go further. We're going to grab the Dremel tool. We're going to knock these things off of here as this thing becomes the stro. So we'll knock those off and fill it. See all this darkness here? Why is that dark in there? Because oils and grease and crud, because it's a gas boat. It makes a horrible mess inside. That's all gotten down into the wood. So we got to cut out everything that's dark, because you can't run epoxy in there. It's not going to stick. Yeah, well, you can run epoxy in there, but it's not going to stick. So this will all get ground out. Hold on. Piggy, are you eating that or just having fun? Gosh. I guess we'll find out. She'll find out. So we're going to do that. Big changes coming up here. Let's talk about that. New theory that's actually a really, really old theory. I've always, gosh, you know, who am I? But I've always thought that hydroplanes are built wrong. And so that's why I constantly change them. Traditionally, as you can see, this is one of Mike's, basically I copied his design is what I did here. Sorry, Mike, but thank you. Where he uses a completely flat floor and then just a step up to the forward section. So basically like an air dam onto a flat floor. And This is one of those areas where I looked at it and said, Mike, that's a terrible idea. But I took his word for it. And it does work. I mean, it's pretty neat. I think he was shooting for some ground effects type of effect. However, this portion of the boat takes a brutal beating. Cracks here. Part of this is a seam from painting, by the way, because this portion broke completely out. In the boat's first race, I'm leading on the last lap, and this blows out here, and we take water, and the motor dies, you know, so I had to reinforce the heck out of this forward section, but even this area here is cracking, and this is pretty stout stuff. This is a solid block right here, but what's it doing? It's cracking. Because this takes a brutal beating. It's in the water. Largely my fault on this design. Again, two reasons. Number one is flat floor, so this area is very low and has no ability to hit the water at an angle right. It just sits there and bangs against the water. But also because I run a super duper low ride height on my boats. Probably a mistake. The jury's out. By ride height, what do I mean by ride height? This rear section here on any of your boats, this whatever flat area you do have a flat area here, right? Anything wrong with the shape of this area here in the back of the boat's going to tell you. This area is always flat, and then there's some sort of a break somewhere, unless you have this whole flat floor design. But the height difference, in other words, the plane difference between this rear section and where the sponsons, oh, now you're interested, and where the ride, basically the touch pad of the sponsons are, that plane difference is the ride height. What's the difference between here and here? I'm not going to tell you what it is on this one. We will talk about it here when we build this, so stick with me. But I run it really shallow, where most boats are quite deep. What that means is for the strut, you also have to run the strut really shallow, because you basically want the strut, the center line of the prop hub, to be at this depth. Okay? So that's how you make your adjustment, at least your initial adjustment on how the boat's going to ride. And I ride it really, really shallow, all of that to go back to the point that this area is hitting the water a lot. Probably not a great idea. You can see I basically create this into a ride pad as well. Not that it touches all the time. I'm not breaking the rules because it's a legal size, but it will touch. It will hit. Touch and go, as you will. So anyway, that's a thing that is going to change. This depth is going to kind of have to be what it has to be because the motor's got to be where it's got to be. But I'm going to eliminate this flat floor. And I'm going to create, and you're going to tell me I'm an idiot, but I don't think I am. This is all going to become from about here forward to the bull nose is going to be nothing but a big soft radius. Totally flies against anything anybody will ever tell you about hydroplanes. They're supposed to have these flat surfaces skip, right? You know what the spoon effect is? When you take a radiused surface and run water across, like a spoon. Gosh, maybe that's why they call it that. If you take a spoon and the back curved portion of the spoon and you run it into the flow of your water faucet, try this at home. Turn the water faucet on and touch the back rounded portion to the stream, and the spoon will suck into that rounded surface, just sucks right into the water. And then if you spin the spoon around to the cup portion and stick it in there, and it bounces off the water stream. My point right there. Oh, shoot. And that right there tells you, what does it tell us? It tells us that we want to compromise. I think if I run a flat, traditional brake, a point of change here, and then a 6-degree angle forward or whatever, now I've got what I've got. I've got my 6 degrees, and it's going to hit water, and it's going to want to skip. And it's going to, here's the key, and here's where I'm going with all this. If I have this fixed angle for my forward section. Wind hits it, air hits it, air pressure, well, it hits the air, as it were, because it's moving. It's a fixed thing. You will get a 1 point of lift, and that's that. So if the boat changes attitude, whatever it does, it's got this pressure point, and it's going to, away the boat goes. I think, going back to the part where I think we've made a mistake all these years, and I think Chip Hanauer said it, that what a hydroplane is it's a wing with training wheels, where the center section, see this curve, right? Just looking at the center, ignore the sponsons. The center section's curved in very much a top wing shape, and the bottom is more or less flat, and then with a little break. What does that do? Well, it creates a wing. Just any wing theory, cut any Boeing wing in half, and you see this curved upper section and a relatively flat lower, and it creates lift. And with hydroplanes, what they're trying to do is create lift at just this perfect point where it lifts the boat level, right? So it basically flies over the water. And that's just super duper until the boat lifts up like this, and now the lift does this number with it. I want to eliminate all of the lift out of the center section of the boat. And what do you shoot out of your gun, right? You shoot a bullet. Round it in the front, perfectly shaped all the way around, flies perfectly neutral through the air. I want the midsection to fly neutral through the air. I want the bottom to almost simulate the top. We're going to basically turn the center section into a radiused bullet. Okay? I realize that will make it angry in water. When this thing is sitting down low in the water at low speed, it's going to tend to suck to the water like that spoon we were talking about, right? And I'm just going to have to overcome that with some serious M5 horsepower, okay? And but I believe that once it is moving, aerodynamically it will be a much improved vehicle. I believe that the radius, once it is moving, as it touches the water, I don't believe it will suck in. I could be wrong. I don't think so. I think it will make it very forgiving. That's my hope. I'm committing to it. We're going to cut this one apart. We'll do this together too. We'll cut this one apart. We'll put a radius on it. We're going to do it to the stroke too. I know. I've completely lost my mind. That's what we're going to do. It's going to be fun. I love to change things. It's freezing cold out here. I don't know how, see that? Check it out, she's hanging out by the heater. I don't know how fast this is going to happen, all right? But I will try to get videos out a little bit quicker for you. And since we're friends and you forgive me, we're all going to get along fine. Yeah, hanging out by the next heater. I don't blame you. Let me show you one more thing here. Okay, so I've asked you about the Flex additive. I have another question for you. Leave me comments, please. While you're down there leaving a comment, click the like button, a little thumbs up thing. A little bell there too, right? Click the little bell and you'll get notified when the new content comes out. I will actually come to your house and ring your bell, and if you're not home, I'll go in and steal your boats because they're probably better than mine. But anyway, but you will also get notified of new content. So here's the thing. I had this all loaded up because I had to take this stuff in the house so this would unfreeze. I'm working on a Merlin engine. Okay. Are you guys interested? It's a total pain in the rump to build it, to print it. It's mesmerizing. This is a Merlin engine test print. Thinking about making little pistons for it. Might run briefly. But it's coming out pretty cool. I redrew my exhaust. If you purchase these through Rattlesnake RC, you will get an improved design now, a much better shape, much more legit shape. Yeah, something like that, right? We need to put this one together. Maybe we'll do that together next video. because this video isn't about this. But if you're interested in a Merlin, let me know, and I'll start producing them. It's a pain. So in one way, I don't want to. Merlins are huge, by the way. Look how big that is. My gosh. This is your supercharger and all of that stuff. Anyhow, let me know. Leave me a comment. Click me a like. Sorry I've been gone so long. We're gonna hang out. We're gonna sling some wood. We're gonna do some really foolish things. And if it works, I'm a hero. If it don't work, I'm right back where I started. So it's all good. Thanks for being here. I'm glad you got to meet Miss Piggy. Sorry Jackson's not here. We'll hang out. Okay? Thanks. See you guys.